There is a song by Craig David called Walking Away. It came out in the year 2000, so it's a 19-year-old song. Soon it's 2020, so it will be 2 decades old. I'm not going to play the song. There is a part of the lyric that stood out to me. Because, truth being told, I never paid attention to the lyrics. It's just a song I heard on the radio often. But, okay, just one of those well-known songs that a lot of people know that exist, but they didn't really pay attention to what he was saying. And that's what you need to understand. Those songs that become hits worldwide are written in which language? So they hide the meaning of what they're trying to say. You have an esoteric meaning, which is the real meaning of the song, and an exoteric meaning. The exoteric meaning is the meaning that commoners perceive. But the real meaning can be seen by those who have understanding. Now, I'm not going to break down the whole song here, but there's a part I want to focus on. It begins with, I'm walking away from the troubles in my life. I'm walking away. So it repeats that he's walking away. So when you hear the song, you may think, well, it's just a guy that's fed up with his girlfriend treating him bad, so he just wants to leave. He doesn't want to face anything. But when you pay close attention, let's go to, okay. So it says here, sometimes some people get me wrong when it's something I've said or done. Okay, we understand that. I don't really have to explain that. Sometimes you feel that there's no fun. That's why you turn and run. So this is a statement that shows the attitude of worldly people. Worldly people, when they can't get relief or things don't refer to them, they tend to be not interested. They tend to just ignore something. That's a narcissistic attitude worldly people have. Which is a bad attitude. It's the fact that they don't realize, or they don't want to realize, if they're becoming narcissists. But that's an attitude most people have. And that's the attitude Christ wants us to be free from. Okay, but let's continue. But now I truly realize, so he came to an insight. Some people don't want to compromise. And this is something you will encounter in your daily life. If you haven't encountered it yet, just keep on living. You will encounter this. A lot of people think that compromise is the same as betrayal. Pagan Christianity says that you shouldn't compromise on your principles, blah, blah, blah. I'm not talking about that here. Natural compromise is when you get along with other people to remain at peace. It's a natural thing. For example, you want to eat steak, but they prefer fish. So you think, you know what? Buddies, we go for steak now. Next time we go for fish. That's compromise. There are people that only want things their way. Now, common people or worldly people, or best people that aren't renewed in their mind, this self-focus already. This toxic self-focus. So, they often only perceive things from their own expectations. Okay? But, when they realize that their own expectations may not be beneficial, they will try to hold on to those expectations, but they will adapt. Even if that adaptation is based from a self-centered motive, it's still an adaptation. Just like the example I give on to you. You love steak, they want fish. Even though you're so focused on steak, but you prefer to preserve the friendships, so you go with fish. Okay? Some people are completely self-focused. They are close to becoming narcissists. They don't have to be narcissists directly, but their defect is that they just don't want to consider things outside of their own expectations at all. And the narcissist is someone who does notice things outside of their expectations, but they are so sick-minded that they make everything about them. And if it's not about them, they deem it unworthy without any right to exist. That's the difference between a narcissist and someone that has an obsessive self-focus. Now, someone with an obsessive self-focus is similar to a narcissist, but it's not the same thing. Because someone with an obsessive self-focus, when you trigger them to look at the bigger picture, they may not like it, but they will acknowledge that indeed they were wrong and they should pay more attention to others, and they will be willing to make amends. A narcissist, at the other hand, don't even try to confront them because they will explode. Okay, let's continue. While I saw them with my own eyes spreading those lies, to the people that are either narcissists or they have this obsessive self-focus, well, if they have this obsessive self-focus, they may not be narcissists, but they can be risky also. But when I saw them with my own eyes spreading those lies, and well, I don't want to live a lie. And this is what you need to understand. People that persist in this narcissistic attitude, whether they become narcissists or they just become people with this obsessive self-focus, to get along with them means you need to operate in their lives. You need to forfeit your own well-being so they are relieved. So, look at what he says. Too many sleepless nights, and not mention the fights. So being around those people will drain your health. It will drain your well-being. It will kill you slowly. It will give you physical sicknesses. Look what I say. I'm trying to say, lady, I'm walking away from the troubles in my life. I'm walking away. Or to find a better day, I'm walking away. So, this is a song. Now, why am I speaking about this song? Because this song tells you what you need to do when you're dealing with toxic people. You shouldn't be dealing with toxic people to begin with. When you encounter people that fit this description, you should walk the other way. You should walk away from them. If there are people that are close to you, like relatives, or someone you need to see or be in contact with, like your boss or supervisor, then you just lower contact. Stay away from them as much as possible. The pagans who wrote this song are telling you what you have to do. But common people often don't consider the bigger picture. When they hear a song and that's a nice beat, they enjoy the nice beat, but they don't pay attention to the lyrics. This video is about walking away. Now, there are people who just don't want to face anything. They just want to flee. I'm not talking about that, because that is a defective way of thinking. That's a defective mindset. It's unfortunately the default mindset of worldly people. Look, extreme circumstances, extreme situations, like a bank robbery, or an intruder enters your house, or you walk in a neighborhood and suddenly you have someone following you. In extreme situations, it's wise for you just to remove yourself physically from the situation. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. However, if you notice in your life that you often, or better said, frequently encounter those extreme situations, that is not natural. That is not even normal. That means that you are haunted. Either you've been bewitched by someone putting a hex on you, or it's something generational that's haunting you. It's natural for you to remove yourself from a situation where there's physical danger, especially when violence is involved. However, there comes a time that you need to examine things. And this is what I want to point out here. When you notice that you frequently encounter unpleasant or, better said, dangerous situations, then you know that it's something paranormal. Either you're a scapegoat due to psychic attacks, that's a common thing that often happens, or someone put a hex on you, or it's a generational thing that's coming after you. So it's not normal for you to keep encountering hurtful and oppressive situations over and over again. Even an atheist who believes we descend from monkeys, that we come from Big Bang, even they who have no spiritual knowledge whatsoever, if they look at an individual, okay, let's say you have a woman called Sabrina. I'm just making up a parable now. Sabrina, within 5 months, she had what they call in the world bad luck over and over again. Then she loses her phone. Then she's in a traffic jam. Then she encounters someone that wants to rob her. Then she encounters stalkers that keep texting her. So all the time, over and over again, she keeps encountering those unpleasant and dangerous situations. An atheist who has no knowledge at all of the spirit world, he or she, I'm going to say he now, he may look at her and look at her situation, look at her life, and conclude something is not right with this woman. People can encounter unpleasant or hurtful or dangerous things during this lifetime. It happens to everyone. But if it happens to you all the time, repeatedly, something's up. But the atheist who doesn't believe in the spirit world will try to look for a logical explanation that does not exist. But at least he recognizes that something is wrong. Now, when someone notices that they are haunted, the first thing they should do, after realizing this, they need to admit it unto themselves. And secondly, look for help. Unfortunately, in the world, many go to psychics or fortune tellers or shamans for help. They only get paranormal assistance, which will bring them relief, but they're not delivered. But at least I admire that they at least admitted that something was wrong and they looked for help. They went for help in the wrong place, but at least they had the courage to admit something is wrong, even though it's not my fault that this thing is happening to me. Nevertheless, it's happening to me, so I should seek help to get rid of this thing that keeps happening to me. Because if I don't look for help, it will continue and it will harm me and those around me. So that's what taking responsibility implies. Taking responsibility doesn't mean that you say it's your fault, when it obviously is not your fault. If someone stabbed you, they stabbed you. If that guy was a schizophrenic or he was out of his mind and he stabbed several people and you were around and he stabbed you too, that's not your fault. He stabbed you. Nevertheless, you need to admit you've been stabbed. You need to go to a hospital. You need to get stitches or else you will lose blood and you'll die. So that's what taking responsibility means. That you look at the situation, and when you realize that the situation needs to change, you do whatever you can in your ability to change the situation for the better. That is responsibility. Nothing more, nothing less. Responsibility is not charging yourself with an obligation that you have to secure a good outcome, because you can't. Okay? There are things outside of your reach. Okay? So, take responsibility has nothing to do with guilt, nor shame, nor with punishment. Okay? Taking responsibility is a healthy thing that preserves your life and your sanity, and the life and the sanity of those within your reach. Okay? So, when someone seeks paranormal aid, I don't agree with paranormal aid, but if they are seeking paranormal aid because they realize something is up, I admire that they at least are seeking for help. But then I hope they will encounter my videos that will redirect them to Christ. I don't want them to be redirected to me, because I'm not Christ, I'm not the Most High. I will redirect them to Christ, while they will get the true help and real deliverance, not extended relief. But you have those people that simply do not want to acknowledge. They don't even want to acknowledge that something is wrong, even when it's obvious and the evidence is growing and growing that something is wrong. Now, if it's a generational thing, It's not their fault because they didn't make their ancestors be involved in what they were involved in. They didn't choose to be born. They didn't even choose to be born. They didn't even have the choice where they would be born, where they would grow up. So if it's a generational thing, it's not their fault. But they need to admit something's going on. There needs to be a solution. If they are the target of psychic violence, again, they are the victim here. They're being victimized by people's rage, by people's psychic attacks. Even then, they need to acknowledge it's not my fault, but it's happening. So I need to do whatever I can in my ability to be in safety. Look, if someone is throwing rocks at you, are you going to just stand there and allow them to keep throwing rocks at you? No. You will flee the scene, or you will keep moving around, so it will be very hard for them to hit you. Right? Or if it's someone that put a hex on them, then obviously they're victimized by whatever witch, wizard, or warlock that is. Even then, they need to acknowledge it's happening and need to go for safety. Now, I don't care what the origin of the haunting is. Anytime anyone is haunted, they should acknowledge something wrong is happening. The moment someone does not want to admit that something wrong is happening, at the moment they don't want to acknowledge the pattern that's haunting them, the moment they don't want to admit the cycle that they are trapped in, they are in denial. Let me give an example to you. Let's say you have a guy that keeps talking about moving to, I don't know, to Brazil, or let's say you have a guy in the United States and he keeps talking about moving to Indonesia or moving to Australia. He just wants to move. And when people keep asking, why do you want to move so badly? First he said, well, I'm attracted to the Australian culture, this and that. He begins to mention the beautiful things of the other country. But then people keep asking about, okay, you mentioned the beautiful things that the other country has, but aren't there any beautiful things around here? You're born in the United States, right? Why is it that you're so fascinated with the beautiful things in other places that you desperately want to leave this place? And when you keep on asking, they'll admit that they just are fed up with society where they live and they just want to get away from it. And when people then tell them to their face, dude, listen, you are fleeing. You think that by fleeing, you'll have a solution. You won't have any solution nor any resolution if you keep on fleeing for stuff. But individual may say, I'm not fleeing. I just want to have a better future. I just want to chase my dreams. They are in denial. Because that same guy is disappointed in his relatives. And he has this rejection issue that he accumulated over time. And because he had this rejection issue, which is a generational thing, because his father used to be exploited and used by other people, his grandfather also, and his great-grandfather also, is a generational thing that's now haunting him also. Now, he is not aware of what happened to his ancestors. Okay? But let's say he turns 20. He's out of his teenage years. He now notices that he doesn't really have any friends, and the people he is involved with, for some weird reason, they often forget about him. And he knows that the people don't mean him any harm, but he realizes that always with him, people tend to forget about him. And because of that, he feels disappointed and rejected. By now, he should acknowledge, okay, why is it that people often forget about me just like that? What's going on? Why is it that people, for some reason, have amnesia when it comes to me? If he acknowledges what's going on, then that's a big step already. And if he begins to examine the context, he'll realize, okay, this is something out of my hands. It's not me, but if it's not me, why is it happening to me? Then he'll realize that it's something spiritual, and then he will figure out sooner or later what's going on. I hope he turns to Christ and not to paranormal 8, but at least if he goes paranormal 8, he wants to do something about it. I don't approve of the paranormal, but okay, if people don't know any better because they've been deceived, well, that's the only thing they have. But if this guy then becomes upset and he just wants to leave to another country, thinking if I'm in another country, this will be better, people will treat me better, what's going on? He's fleeing. He goes to that other country, whatever that other country is, and the same demons will be there also. And the demons in that region where he migrates to will communicate with the demons of his background. And because those demons know one another, because remember, those evil spirits have been roaming the earth for thousands of years, those evil spirits in that new country where he migrated to will cooperate with the demons of his background. So the demons in that new location will work together with the demons of his background, and similar situations will occur. He may move to Australia, or maybe to Indonesia, or maybe to a country in Africa, and things start good in his relationships, but people suddenly forget about him. It's not the people that are narcissistic and want to forget about him. It's the evil spirits around him that cause a mind fog in people's minds that they forget about him. Those people that he's involved with should also realize, hold on a minute, why do we keep forgetting about this guy? We are on good terms with him. Why do we keep forgetting? So those people also have their responsibility to figure out what's going on. But this guy, let's say the guy's name is Bart. Bart should not wait until others realize something is wrong and comply with the solution. Bart shouldn't wait for it. Bart should realize something is haunting me, and it affects how people treat me. Now, those people are also responsible for how they treat me. But if they are affected also by something that's haunting me, even though they are responsible for how they treat me, I need to acknowledge something is haunting me. Even though it's not my fault it's haunting me, I need to get rid of this thing that's haunting me. Okay? Unfortunately, in the world, it's a common thing for people to keep on fleeing. There's a difference between walking away and fleeing. Fleeing is when you don't want to face anything, you just want relief. You don't want to process anything, you don't want to face anything. Walking away is when you realize that a situation will not turn out any better, things will not improve, and things will only become harmful to you in the long run. You just shake dust off your feet and move on. Whether it's moving on from a place or from some relationships or from some people, you do that because it's for the best. It's for your safety and safety of the community. That's walking away. And here's the thing. If you are in agreement with Christ, if you walk by faith, it will be drama walking away from you. Or better said, fleeing from you, instead of you having to walk away from it. But not everyone reached that state yet where danger and drama flees from them instead of the other way around. So if you're not in that state yet, you just need to walk away. Look, there are people who know, and these are the dangerous ones. Someone that's endangered because they're haunted is just someone that needs help. And you need to address them that they need to look for help. But someone that's dangerous is aware that something is haunting them, but they don't want to acknowledge it, so they are in denial. And over time, this denial becomes pathological, so they turn into pathological liars. Look, if something is haunting you, it's not you doing it. Nevertheless, you should seek deliverance, you should seek help to get rid of the thing that's haunting you. If you don't, you are enabling the thing that's haunting you, and then you're not a victim anymore, you are a perpetrator of the thing that's haunting you. Okay? And often people that keep denying, as I mentioned before, they turn into pathological liars in the sense that they don't want to make their own contribution. And their own contribution also affects others in a negative way. But when this happens, they will remain in the victim role, playing the victim, or they will blame someone else, or they will pretend as if nothing's going on. Such people are dangerous. If someone is only endangered and they are dysfunctional or just defect, then you can deal with them. But when someone has become dangerous, then they are the danger. For example, you can have a woman that grew up in a household where the father was effeminate and she didn't develop a good bond with her father as a child. Now, as a woman, this affected her other relationships with men throughout her life. Well, throughout her past, better said, because she didn't die yet. She's still alive. So let's say now she realizes that she always has issues with men. Now, when she realizes that, okay, my father wasn't really a father to me, that's the beginning. Then she needs to admit the defective thinking she developed and accumulated over time due to her upbringing. She needs to own that. Not only in the sense that she blames herself, but she needs to own that that happened. Just like when you are stabbed or victimized with someone, it's not you doing it. You didn't cause it to yourself, but you need to own that it happened so that you will look for a solution. But let's say you have a woman now that doesn't want to face anything. She realized that she was projecting that hurt onto other men and treating men badly for it. She has over 5 ex-boyfriends that she treated badly. Those were good men that she trashed because she didn't want to face herself. Now, the moment she realized that, she should look for help. But let's say she doesn't want to look for help. Let's say she just wants to flee away. She doesn't want to face anything. What's happening now that she turned into a perpetrator? She turned into a wolf in sheep's clothing. Because now she has settled for victimizing others to be relieved. She was victimized by the lack of concern by her own father. She became dysfunctional and eventually defect. Once it became obvious to her that positive change needs to happen, it was her obligation to look for safety. If she doesn't do that, she now is a partaker of the curse, and she's now enabling and enforcing the curse on the environment. So wherever she goes, her toxic denial, her pathological lying will harm other people. Okay? So, if you encounter such an individual, just lower contact and better just break contact. Okay? Do not engage them. They may lie to you to let you think that they are wise people that walk away from trouble, but in fact they are the trouble. They are the problem. So they will pretend as if they are people that are just wise to walk away from difficulty, because they will tell certain facts to you, but they will hide other stuff to make the other look bad. They often do such things so that you would lower your guard and be openly vulnerable to them so that they can exploit you. But that's all they want, to exploit you. They don't care about you at all. So, walking away is a wise thing to do. Even when you walk fully in the power of Christ, walking away is a wise thing to do. You avoid a lot of unnecessary harm and conflict by doing that. But realize, you also have people that are just fleeing. When someone is fleeing, you can give them hints that they need to change their attitude, but when you realize that they're not ready or not willing to face the fact that they are fleeing, just let them be. You can pray for them at a distance, that they remain alive, that they don't put themselves in harm's way or put others in harm's way. You can limit the harm that will come from their fleeing by praying and intervening supernaturally, but you do that at a distance. Do not engage with people that keep on fleeing. It will have disastrous consequences for you. Such people will bring negative attention to you. They will bring violence and danger to you. If someone is just endangered and they are in denial, eventually they will crash somewhere in life, whether they get a burnout or they hit the wall or they end up in jail. They'll hit rock bottom sooner or later and they realize, you know what, it's over, I need to change. But when you're dealing with someone that's dangerous, they will never, ever accept the realization that they need to change for things to become better. So they will pretend to have changed, or they will pretend to want help, just to drain you. And they will, whether they do it on purpose or unconsciously, they will bring you in a negative daylight so that whatever's haunting them will now stick at you while they walk away, being relieved. And then when the haunting continues, they will do the same with someone else. And that's how they keep going, and from person to person, from marriage to marriage, relationship to relationship, leaving behind destruction and harm. So know the difference between someone that's walking away and someone that's fleeing. There are people that will flee from you, not because of something wrong you did to them, but because they don't want to change. They don't want to face things. If you have someone that wants to flee from you, let them flee. If you were wrong, if you were terribly wrong, someone is walking away, they did the right thing, you will be able to process that. What people have a lot of difficulty with is other people just living their life without any explanation, as if they did something wrong, and you are left with the answers. What did I do wrong? Such people are fleeing because they don't want to face things. So if they're fleeing from you, let them flee. Don't chase them. Don't go after them. If they want to flee from you, let them flee. Because it has nothing whatsoever to do with you. It all has to do with them. And listen to what I'm saying. When people that are fleeing, whether people that, I don't care if they are dangerous people or just endangered people. When someone is fleeing and they don't want to admit they're fleeing, let them flee. You know why? Because the moment they can't flee, they will escalate, they will explode. And if you are around, you may be the one they explode on. So don't let that happen. If they want to flee, let them flee. You can pray for them and intervene supernaturally at a distance. You can do that, but don't engage someone that keeps on fleeing. Well, that's it for now. Keep agreeing with Christ and be at peace.